The time has finally come for a final battle between zombies and fire, my fellow ice cubes, because we are moving to the modern day. A world full of temporary zombies and mysterious shadow plants is waiting for us. It is the 11th and the final world of our time adventure and the very last hope to find Dave's Taco. Today, we're going to fry the modern zombies like a barbecue in the backyard, using all the fire plants to stop the massive attack from 2010. Without further ado, let's get our taco back. Project Paradox begins now. Timeline alert, user Dave. We have arrived moments before our departure. If my guess is correct, Dr. Zombas will attempt to prevent your initial taco consumption. Our journey will cease to exist. No. Oh, sorry, I was busy screaming no. Did you say taco? We must beware, user Dave. Dr. Zombas will surely deploy all his time-varied zombies. Taco! As you may see, Crazy Dave needs only one scene, and he doesn't care about anything else. However, let's get back to our time adventure. Day 1 is always my favorite one, as it is an excellent opportunity to understand what is going on in this universe and what type of challenge we will face today. This time the first level of a new world was severe, as it's hard to imagine it without the peppermint, which played a key role in beating the level, as pepper pools were not able to stop Popka the parrot, and the rest of the zombies as well, let alone those who came from the portals. Even though the final wave was crazy because of the mecha football zombie and the rest of the bodies who came from the future, we managed to burn them all and complete the level with only a single remaining lone mover. Sounds like a huge success. If you thought that day 1 was crazy, take a look at day 2, which already includes a gargantuar. While it's a typical situation for this world, so don't be surprised by it. This time I didn't want to finish the level with only a single lone mover, so I picked a meteor flower as my main plant against the zombie horde. Guess what? It was a brilliant choice. The meteor shower, combined with a lane of lava, is one of the most efficient ways to defeat the zombies, especially when you add a peppermint to this combo. The ancient Garg was genuinely shocked by its effectiveness. Day 3 was a conveyor belt level, which included my lovely Snapdragon. However, it's unbeatable with only that plant, as Newspaper Zombie is a big fan of speedrunning the levels. That's why I had to use some other plants like Endurian and Lightning Reed to stop it. I'm not a big fan of this level, as it seems to be pretty much boring to me, so we are moving to the next one. On day 4, I repeated the strategy from day 2, as it seems to be a working solution for an early stage of the modern day. Some of you might know that this level contains an Imp Dragon, which is immune to any fire plant and its fire attack. So, is that the end of our challenge? Of course it's not. I was thinking about its appearance a long time before we entered this stage, so I have already prepared a few strategies for defeating an Imp Dragon, and the first one included a hot date. The idea was simple. I would attract all the imps to one lane and then the lone movers would finish them off. Then the same steps will be repeated with the other lanes and boom, the level is completed. You know what? Everything was going just like I predicted, and at the end of the level I made another 200 IQ moments by attracting the zombies to the lane where imps would activate the lone mover in a few seconds. I was surely cooking this level. Day 5 included lots of annoying zombies, from fast-moving imps to newspaper zombies, which are currently the main threats to my lone movers, as they move so fast that not even the meteor flower can catch them with its artillery shot. The rest of the level was fine, but I still can't get the point of including Gargs in every single level of the modern day. Even though I can easily counter it with the fire plants, I still respect such a serious enemy. On day 6, we had to grind 4000 suns, which gave me a fantastic opportunity to play the level in the way it's meant to be beaten. Without the sun deficit, I was able to plant everything I wanted to, and of course my choice fell in placing a column of infernos combined with meteor flowers. These fire plants were incredibly effective and the level was beaten much faster than I expected. As a result, I had to dig up lots of plants to grind the needed amount of sun, allowing the zombies to consume lots of sunshrooms together with hot dates. Day 7 was just a ridiculous zombie spam and nothing more than that, since 90% of the level was dedicated to some of the most annoying zombies, which appeared simultaneously. What were the PopCap developers thinking about while creating such a dumb level? Because it's even worse than the Jurassic Marsh, which has some of the worst levels in the game. It's not a big problem to beat such a level, but I didn't enjoy a single second of it, since the real hardness lies in a good zombie combinations rather than spamming the worst enemies on one level. Mr. Floppa wouldn't approve such a level. Day 8 was a 3 in a row minigame, so there's a good chance to tell you something interesting. Did you know that an elephant's trunk has over 150,000 muscles on it? To put it into perspective, our body has approximately 840 muscles. When a baby elephant is born, it's pretty clumsy and it doesn't know how to use its trunk. It takes around 8 months for a newborn to learn how to use its trunk properly. Thank you so much for your attention. On day 9, we had to survive the zombie attack with only shadow plants, which means that the fire plants are not the same on that level. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of number 9, so skipping it would be the right choice. Day 10 contained even more fast-moving zombies, which wasn't fun at all, since I had to deal not only with some easy enemies like Discotrons, but also with the prehistoric zombie, which is a big fan of cobblestones and Ooga Booga. Guys, I don't have enough suns to deal with all of you, especially if it comes to the Primal Gorg, which is by far the toughest gargantuar in the game, and all I have to stop him is a few fire plants. Nevertheless, we managed to survive to the final wave and defeat the Robogarg with the help of the Lawnmower. So, because of the Perspector zombie, day 11 was beaten with the help of the Wasabi whip, which is capable of slashing the zombies from both sides, so none of them can easily get to my spicy friend. The addition of Piano Man to this level is still a huge mystery, as there are no zombies from the Wild West who would dance while listening to his melody. Not even a Tintin Man is a fan of his music, which tells us a lot about his musical abilities. I've started thinking that Piano Man is a local Squidward, as no one likes his melodies. Day 12 was much easier than expected, as Inferno is yet another great option to deal with Imp Dragons, which are now stuck at the beginning of the lawn. Moreover, it allowed me to group even more zombies, so the spicy flame of the hot date has fried even more zombies at once. Oh, and I don't really know what the hell has happened with my Jack-o'-lantern, which at first defeated the Gorg and then it simply disappeared. Our pumpkin friend reminded me of a man on a mission who did his task and then went away. Impressive for such a fabulous pumpkin. Day 13 featured a 3 in a row minigame, which is by far one of my favorites in PVZ2. Even though this level has no connection to our challenge, it feels special to me because the essence of my challenge lies in levels like this one. I'm honestly shocked that it has been almost 3 months since I started this challenge, and now we are finishing it. Moments like this one feels pretty special, as I understand that all the efforts I put into it are going to become a long movie in a few days. It's a great feeling. I like it because people enjoy what I do and appreciate every moment of this challenge. That makes me feel really happy. On day 14 we had to survive the zombie attack with only shadow plants, so I suggest skipping it, as it told you lots of interesting stuff right before it. On day 15 I had to protect a few primal cobblestones from being eaten by zombies. To my surprise, the enemy list on this level was pretty poor, and the imp cannon from the piracies has impressed me, as I couldn't expect to see it at this point. There was literally only one tough zombie at this level, and it was the classical Gorg, which appeared on the middle lane that didn't have any cobblestones. Sometimes I can't really understand the logic of PopCap developers who made some of the first levels much tougher than all we witness right now. Nevertheless, let's continue to enjoy this game. So, after defeating the final zombie, we received a taco? It can't be serious. I'm sure it's a trap. Look, Penny, my taco! No, user Dave, you must not. I detect high levels of trappiness. But hungry, chow, taco. Like I said, it was a trap. Day 16 was a pretty interesting conveyor belt level featuring only gargantures and plans that aim to defeat them. On the one hand, it's a cool and unique challenge since there are no similar levels to this one. Still, on the other hand, it destroys the reputation of Gargantua as a dangerous enemy, for which you have to prepare only the best defense since the giant zombie is seen as a killing machine. You have probably understood that I'm not a big fan of the modern day, as I find it a bad ending of the game. In my opinion, the concept of the final world should be different, and the zombie list should be way larger than it currently is. The only strong side of the modern day is the shadow plants, a cool concept that represents a new plant family with interesting abilities. However, the rest of the world isn't so great, and I wouldn't recommend replaying it over and over. With that being said, let's move to the second part of the modern day. Day 17 didn't feature anything new, but at least the zombie combinations were much better than they used to be in the first part. If you think something is going wrong on your lawn, just place the peppermint and all of your problems will be solved in 5 seconds. However, don't do that so often as the game would become too dull and repetitive. Oh yeah, that's my favorite moment of the entire level. I remember Day 18 for introducing a bull zombie in the modern day, which is in fact a dangerous enemy considering its fast pace and agile nature. It's hard to believe that a zombie from the Wild West can become a serious enemy in this world, but it is what it is. Despite losing a few lone movers, the level was completed and my brain became relaxed. Day 19 was a strange conveyor belt level as it combined plans from prehistory with the plans from the far future. Sounds reasonable. Oh, and we even received a coconut cannon from the PVZ, which honestly made the timeline even stranger. Nevertheless, it's an optional level, so I don't care about its existence. Day 20 was a perfect opportunity to play with a Wasabi whip, and of course, I couldn't miss such a chance. These sun tiles, which are placed at the beginning of the lawn, became my primary sun source, all of which I spent on putting even more Wasabi whips. So technically, Wasabi whips were producing suns to place even more Wasabi whips. Oh, what an effective zero-waste production! Everything was going so fast that 99% of the zombies were defeated in the first 2 minutes, and the third minute was spent on dealing with the primal garg. Big boy needs lots of fire to be defeated. Day 21 has finally featured the All-Star Zombie, which is one of the most dangerous enemies we have ever faced in this challenge. Unlike other zombies, it is capable of destroying Inferno while the plant is reloading, so we should be really cautious when the football zombie enters the lawn. Sometimes there are so many different enemies on the lawn that not even Inferno is capable of stopping them all, so the rest of the fire plants are becoming more useful than they ever were. Day 22 featured a 3-in-a-row minigame, so I had a few minutes to relax and think about the experience I gained while beating the modern day and the rest of the worlds. The fire challenge taught me to always keep an eye on everything that is happening on the lawn and sometimes play as fast as possible to trigger the next wave, so even if you are not capable of dealing with all the zombies, the lone movers will do the rest of the work for you. Also, I learned a valuable lesson about dealing with all kinds of zombies and even developed some new strategies for dealing with old enemies. Overall, I think that this challenge was valuable not only for me, but for all of you, my fellow ice cubes. Day 23 became a total mess as lots of annoying zombies appeared on that level and I couldn't do anything against them, since most of the time my meteor flowers were covered with an awful octopus. The only thing I could do in this situation was of course to use the peppermints to deal with all the zombies that were obsessed with the idea of getting my brain at any cost. Unfortunately for them, the level was completed and my brain was saved once again. Day 24 contained a 200 IQ moment at the end of the level, when I managed to defeat the all-star zombie that was 2 steps away from getting to the house and consuming my brain. Still, a jalapeno pepper became my victory ticket, which saved the lawn from a total collapse. Put a like on this video for such a great move. Day 25 was an interesting conveyor belt level which contained only carrots. It's interesting to find out that such an idea was used too late and we've got only one level of that type, which is pretty sad, because this plant has appeared in the Neon mixtape tour, and since then we haven't seen any good level up until now. The intensive carrot could become a great plant if only the PopCap developers made it a bit better than we've got in a game. Day 26 wasn't an interesting one, as I don't find zombie spam a necessary scene to talk about. I can always tell you a fascinating story of how I saved enough stones to plant a full column of infernos and then countered all the enemies you see on the screen with his help. But let's be honest, no one is interested in that type of scene, and neither am I. Day 27 once again featured 3-in-a-row mini-games, so that's a great chance to tell you something interesting. Did you know that Modern Day was released almost 10 years ago? In February 2026, this world will celebrate its 10th anniversary, and I still can't believe that we haven't seen a new world since then. When Modern Day was released, I was 12, and now I'm 22. Life is going at an insanely fast pace. On day 28, we had to gather 3000 suns, so I found nothing better than beating this level using Fire Pea together with Torchwood, as the last time I used them was on a big wave beach. My first attempt failed because I was playing too fast. On my second attempt, I needed a few more seconds to gather an additional 25 suns, but the game didn't want to cooperate with me. On the third attempt, I finally succeeded with only Torchwoods, leaving no lone movers in the yard. Day 29 was an easy one, and even the imp dragons couldn't stop me from enjoying it. Even though I had no plans in the lone, I was still succeeding in frying the zombies, as most of them ended up being fried like a KFC chicken. The final wave introduced a few Gargs from ancient Egypt, but even they couldn't change the situation you see on your screens. Neither of them could resist the superior power of the fire plants. Day 30 remains a nightmare for me, as I spent over an hour trying to beat that level repeatedly without success. To understand how hard it is, you should never forget that I struggled to complete it even with a few columns of sunshrooms. After numerous attempts and failures, I finally reached the final wave, and only then did I realize that the level is unbeatable with only fire plants, as I've got nothing to counter 3 gargantuars simultaneously. This is the first and the only impossible level of the Modern Day, and if you manage to beat it on your own, please let me know in the comments below the way you did it, because I have tried literally everything to complete it. Day 31 was one of the easiest levels of the Modern Day, and I'm not even joking. I still can't find the logic in making such an easy level at the end of the journey, especially since we're just one step away from finishing the adventure mode, and you're giving me this. That's not serious at all. Anyway, that's not my problem, so let's move to the final levels of our time adventure. Days 32, 33 and 34 were spent fighting with Dr. Zombies. I'm not a big fan of these levels, as I find them a bad ending for the adventure mode. Fortunately or not, they didn't contain enough fire plants to attempt beating zombies with only them, so we are going to skip all of these levels. However, after beating day 34, we finally got a taco with a waffle in it. It's even better than one we consumed some time ago. David, I implore you, you must give up your hopeless dream of a long ago taco. It is gone forever. But please, in its place, take this. Oh, is that a taco with a waffle in it? I detect high level of deliciousness, user Dave. This is the greatest day in my or anybody else's life. Bon appetit, Crazy Dave. So there are no more levels to play or keys to achieve, which means that PVZ2 was successfully beaten with only fire plants. I hope you enjoyed it, because I really did. It was an amazing experience, and I hope you will try it on your own, because fire plants are a fantastic plant group in PVZ2. There are so many of them that you can create numerous strategies for beating various worlds in our time adventure. However, it's not the final challenge on my channel, as many of you have requested to continue this series, so the next time adventure will be dedicated to another plant group. As we approach the holidays, you can suggest what type of challenge will be next. It is going to be the fourth and the final challenge of 2025, and I still hope to reach 25,000 subscribers by December 31st, 2025. Also, don't forget about sponsorships, as they are a fantastic way to support me. Now I'm working on some of the following videos, so wait for them all. Sincerely, your Iceberg.